I've been trying out as many flower devices as I can. I'm trying to get all the popular ones, all the ones that other people are using. So when I talk about new devices, I have more things to compare it to. And one of the brands I've been skipping out on for a little while is Utillian. I tried something from them a few years ago. I didn't exactly love it, but I have mad respect for the brand because I talk a lot of crap about a lot of these devices, a lot of brands, and some of them get mad. They get butthurt and they're like, you don't know what you're talking about. We make the best device ever. And I talked a lot of crap about one of their devices years ago, and they emailed me and they're like, hey, how can we make this thing better? I got a lot of respect for them because they're open to feedback on their devices. I actually tried a couple of the devices recently before they came out, and I was able to give them feedback and help them understand your average consumer a little bit better. But in an effort to expand my opinions and really give people the best information on which devices are good for them and how they compete with each other, I'm trying to compare just more handheld devices, new stuff that's coming out. There's a lot of older stuff that maybe just doesn't do it anymore, so I'm really looking at newer things, and this guy just came out this year. It's the Utillian 850. It is a handheld portable dry herb vape, and this guy also does concentrate, and I know I've talked a lot of crap about devices that do both in the past. There's so many devices, yeah, we do this and that, but they really do one and they can sort of do the other one. Well, I gotta say, for handheld flower devices that say they also do concentrate, this one actually does a pretty solid hit, and I think it's due to the dual core heating they have. This offers conduction and convection, which convection I think is the best for flower. You get that hot air through your flower and you get some nice vapor, but that doesn't really work as well for concentrate. You want that oil to touch the heated surface so it can vape better. And while I'm not gonna say this is gonna replace any e-rig out there, it actually did give me some pretty solid hits. I got like 90 seconds of decent vapor. You don't get like a quartz bucket or like a little ceramic chamber, but you get this nice little metal chamber for concentrates. Again, if you're only getting one device, this can do both, but like it's not gonna replace your e-rig if you already have something decent. But the main use of this for a lot of people is going to be the flower. And with the dual core, you can get some pretty solid hits. I was actually surprised by the hits that I could get with this. Some of them struggle to deliver that consistent vapor because the more you pull on it, the more you're cooling the device down inside and it's struggling to keep up. But I was trying this guy on water pipes. I was trying it dry with the regular mouthpiece, and you can really put this thing to the test. Now, there's a couple features on this I like. I've been seeing more devices come with the little built-in tool. You can use it to put your concentrate in there. You can use it to stir your flower bowl. It's nice to have something built in. It has a little adjustable airflow slide here, which you don't have exactly as much finesse as I'd like with adjustable airflow, but really I just was leaving it open the whole time and getting really good hits. But I was finding for concentrate and for flower, I was just getting the best results leaving it wide open. Now, there is no replaceable battery on this. I think that's kind of a bummer for some people. We are seeing certain devices with, certain devices without. Replaceable means that if the battery goes bad, you just swap that out. But I do hear they have a pretty solid warranty over here at Utillian. I haven't had to deal with it personally, but I do get a lot of feedback from people in my live streams. We got hundreds of stoners in there chilling. A lot of the feedback I get on some of these devices, I'm just asking people in the chat, what's good? How's your experience with this? And if a bunch of people are telling me they had a good or a bad experience, I can carry that information over because I can't get all those experiences myself. Now, I do like this guy has a zirconia mouthpiece. Look, there's so many devices, high end, even more expensive than this device with a plastic mouthpiece. I don't love it. I don't love something that costs close to a PS5 and I put my mouth on plastic. I don't know. I don't love it. It works, right? We got thermoplastic and there's certain things that you can use, but it just feels more premium when I have something different. Like a glass mouthpiece feels nice, but this zirconia one is really good. And it also features a little zirconia air path in there, just a little maze for your vapor to cool off. There's some of the top devices, they just got a plastic maze, plastic mouthpiece, and a higher price tag than this, which is a little wild. But I do want to say, I actually thought this was going to be a lower cost based off of the performance, based off of what you're getting with it. There's a lot of factors that go into the price point on some of these devices. I'm not exactly sure, but I would say this guy is close to the cost of some of these desktop vapes that I recommend. Like you can get a one-hit wonder for a similar price, but this guy goes with you and the one-hit wonder plugs into the wall. I'd say if it only did flower, maybe they could let it go for a cheaper price, but some people want that combination of flower and concentrate. I think this brand is big in Canada. I have like a decent chunk of audience in Canada, right? Most of my audience is in the States, but we got like the second most is in Canada. And I'm learning they have different access to different devices. There's a few that I've made videos on and people are like, dang, I can't get this in Canada. And I'm like, I never even thought about that. Hey, so look, if you're Canadian, what are some of these devices I should test out? Now, I do like this little air path that they give you here. Let me see if I can just break it apart real quick. The vapor will go through your mouthpiece into this little zirconia maze, and you got gold screens in here. Look, this is gold plated, all right? Not only does it have a gold screen, it has two of them, all right? I think an earlier version of this, the screens were a little bit closer together. In my experience, that just causes the resin to build up a little bit more. But they space it out and you get nice airflow through. It doesn't cause that buildup super quick. And when you're using screens and you're trying to cool the vapor, you're trying to filter, but you're not trying to affect the flavor, apparently gold is the best option, all right? So they went with some nice gold screens in there. That was interesting to see when you pop it open. You're like, ooh, it's gold. And then also your chamber where you load your flower is gold lined as well. Looks nice in there. Decent size. It holds a good chunk of flower. I've tried a number of devices where it's like, it doesn't matter how good it is. You can't put enough flower in there to get a good hit. But this is actually decent. When I run this guy on sesh mode, I find any of these little devices, if they have a water pipe attachment, when I put it on the water pipe, I'm not going to take the hit that I would with like a ball vape, for example, like with my one hit wonder or something. But I am going to be able to cool the vapor and percolate it with the waters. But in session mode with the dry top, I think that's where these guys really shine. For joint smokers, for people that like that 5-minute sesh or whatever, I like a one and done rip for the most part, and then I'll take another one in 15-20 minutes. But for like a more casual, I'm chatting with people or I'm watching a TV show, the few minutes of session time you can get on some of these handheld vapes is really nice. I was having this guy rip for like 4 minutes, no problem, just puffing on vapor, watching some shows. I think that's a good way to experience it, right? You're not getting any insane vapor. I'm not getting a huge cloud that's going to make me not be able to catch the dialogue of the show, right? Sometimes I take a rip so big I can't hear for 30 seconds. Like, I can hear, my ears are working, but like, I don't understand anything. Give me a second. I'm trying to remember how to breathe. But for somebody that likes that more casual smoke where I'm going to take a few rips, not get a punch of a hit, I'm going to get several rips, and those hits are going to build up and get me high over time. Look, this is ideal for anybody that's trying to cut joints out and switch to vapor. If you're not big into bong rips, you're not big into taking those big punch of a hits, you might want to try a little handheld, portable, dryer vapor. I know I recommend like a glass piece and a ball vape, take a big rip, but not everybody wants to sesh like that. Not everybody can sesh like that even. Now, I mentioned the wax mode earlier. This does have the conduction and convection. You actually get two different like heat modes. I like this device because you don't have to 5-click it to turn it on. You just hold that power button down. That just feels more premium to me. So I got it in herb mode here. It's heating up. I'm not really going to rip it here. I got a video on Rumble showing the rips, but if I double click it, it'll switch to wax mode, which unlocks a new temperature range, which is important for concentrate because you need a higher temperature than you need for the flower. Now, I do want to say in the herb mode, the max temp on here is like 446, and I never really cranked it past 420. I felt like I was coming close to combustion, which I've tried a number of devices that you can't even get close to it, or you can get super close, but they cut you off at like 410, 428, 430-ish. This one's letting me go all the way up to 446, and I'm a little scared of doing it, right? Because I don't ever want to combust on a handheld device. My whole goal with vaping the flower is to, believe it or not, vape the flower. So if I combust it, I messed up. So I haven't hit like max temp flower on here. I was really like 20-30 degrees off of that max temp. But I think that higher temperature range, it helps with the concentrates. Obviously, you double click it to get into the concentrate mode with that higher temperature range. But they left some of those higher heat capabilities if you're in flower mode still. Now, one other thing I thought was cool on this, I like the little screen that they give you, but you can see my current temperature and then the temperature I have it set to. Well, if I triple click it, I think this is the default mode. You get this fun little ring where it fills up this little circle as it's heating up. But this number's a little bit smaller. I think it's cool that they added just a display option if you're having trouble seeing. I prefer this one. It's bigger numbers, but I can see the current and the set temperature. That's just easier for me to look at. And I've been using so many e-nails that had that format throughout the years that it's just easier to use. Now, I wanted to point this out as one of my issues with it. I don't like that they use this material on the outside. Like it's got this metallic body, but then it's got this rubber coating on it, which if you wipe it with isopropyl alcohol, it can start to eat that away. Now, there's none of that on the inside. You got that zirconia lined path. You got the zirconia maze. You got your gold screens in there. This is on the outside, but like that's something that's a little bit annoying for me with devices. I just talked about that on the Switch 2 not too long ago. They have like a coating on the outside where you're like not supposed to clean it with alcohol. But you could just accidentally, I actually did this on accident. It was like laying on my desk and I didn't realize I spilled something with ISO in it. So this little corner piece is just sitting in a little pool of isopropyl alcohol on my desk. I'm kind of annoyed by that, but that is something that they could address in the future. And I think if it's all metal, right? Remember that PAX device I tried not too long ago? That thing got too hot to touch. I think if you use too much metal and you don't put coating on the outside, you could have an issue where you're like, frick, this is hot and I need to drop like a silicone sleeve or something for it. I actually did ask them about this and they said this is like a preferred option that they had on other devices where their customers preferred it. And they were going to make a new version of this in the future with like a full anodized aluminum body. So they do make stuff, I guess, based off of what their customers prefer. They got many devices that I haven't tried, so I don't have the same feedback from using them. But I do have respect for Utillian because they take the feedback. They don't get butthurt when I tell them something sucks or when they could make something better. Or it's a little bit refreshing that some people are open to the feedback. They want to make a better device. That to me is refreshing. So at the end of the day, I didn't get any bad rips off this. I was actually impressed with how it hit the concentrate. I do think the price on it is a little high compared to what I was expecting. And that happens on some devices here and there. Sometimes that price comes down over time. Well, sometimes other things around it get more expensive and that price starts to look good again. But you know how the tubes is. I can't really show the rips here. I'm going to link a Rumble video where I show you some clouds in there, use the water pipe adapter, use the concentrate, and I'll yap about it a little bit more there if you want some more info. I do have to say this is much better than the last device I tested from Utillian. Hopefully they keep improving. And if you're trying to get high with me, stop by the live streams. I go live on Twitch and Rumble 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Where are you at?